Just a hair bit. Alrighty. Let's see. All right. Live streaming, brand new camera, just got in today. If the video is a little fuzzy or whatever, I apologize for that. Hold on. Let me see something here. Give me the flashlight. There we go. Give me a second here. I'm not sure if that's going to do any better, but I took the film off. All right. Sceptical Scotsman again. I'm going live. I don't know how many of you are going to be watching this. Doesn't really bother me either way. I'm wearing green. It's not for St. Patrick's Day. My favorite color is green. Everybody who knows me real well knows that. I wanted to talk. I've made certain decisions and choices. I've been debating whether or not to get a webcam separate from the one that is in my laptop. And yeah, now it's a matter of what to do next after this, because if this goes well, then, because I'm going to do the same thing with my Shroud Effect podcast as well. Damn, I'm just dropping everything today. But yeah, I wanted to talk tonight a little about politics, because that's what this channel is for. The Sceptical Scotsman is for the more serious things, as to where my other channel, the Shroud Effect, is for all the funny stuff. That's why you see me eating burgers or doing whatnot like that there. I told my old podcast partner from way back in the day, back when we used to do Anchor, a dual Anchor podcast, that I was going live tonight. I'm guessing he is doing his own. I'm texting him right now. He's probably in the middle of doing his own. He's getting more popular because he joined the true crime genre. I'm not a true crime guy, so for me, I'm not all in that, and I'm okay with that. I do more political and serious stuff on this channel. We'll be having I'll be having discussions about political things and political theory, which most of you who've watched me before know that. But what I wanted to talk about tonight was, I've been watching a lot about the Trump cases and all that rigmarole. My problem with the entire system, let's see if I can adjust this camera just a hair bit more. Yeah, that looks better now. My entire problem with the system as it stands right now is the fact that we have two not great candidates. It's not the fact that we couldn't have a decent candidate. Right now, our choices are between a narcissistic, spray-tanned, misogynistic egomaniac who believes he's a Teflon Don. You know, hire enough lawyers, enough expensive lawyers, you get away with anything, versus an old man who, quite frankly, reminds me of my grandparents. Mind you, I'm 43, and I don't have any grandparents left. Like, my grandparents started rolling downhill more than 7 years ago. More than. And he's acting like they would, but okay, you know they're cognitively declining. The difference is Biden's running the country. Biden's the president. Why would I want to vote for him again if he's already in decline? That makes about as much sense as voting for the school bully to be the moderator for an argument with two kids he doesn't like. He's either going to bribe them or beat them, one of the two. And then you have Trump, who's a former president, and he's pretty much in Russia's pocket. All the people who are MAGA heads are saying that he's the only person who can fix it. No, that's just what they see. They're not wanting to pay attention to anything other than what they want. They want the results they want. They want to hear the things they want. I'm okay with hearing things I don't agree with. I'm totally okay with that. I'm fine with it. The problem is when you're expecting that from everybody. Well, he's not solving. Actually, there are plenty of people behind the scenes solving the problem from behind. I think that's Milan. I don't know. Can't tell. Oh, thought I saw a flash or something right over there. Anyway, with Trump, I don't want a guy who thinks he should be immune from everything forever just because he's president. The Constitution, anybody who's actually read the Constitution, and I'm not talking about, well, his lawyers, I don't give a shit how his lawyers interpret it. His lawyers are trying to get him off. That's what they're paid to do, is trying to get him off. But he committed crimes. And anybody who says he didn't commit crimes, stop lying to yourself. Like, when they're saying that Biden is going to be impeached, he has to commit a crime to be impeached. And much like the impeachment of Alejandro Mayorkas, which is largely symbolic, largely, there's no point to it. He's getting impeached because they're saying dereliction of duty due to the southern border crisis. That's not actually a crime. They're interpreting it as a crime to increase what they want. I mean, that's the long and short of it. And you can say that, oh, they need to get Hunter Biden and do away with him. If he committed a crime, which I'm sure he did, I'm not saying he did or he didn't, but I'm sure he did. If he violated certain conditions and broke the law and ruined the so-called sweetheart deal that he was supposed to get, I have no problem with him going up to Club Fed and being behind bars. I have no problem with it whatsoever. He's not the president. He's the son of the president. And did he get caught? He made videos of himself doing crack and Lord knows what else on video. There are videos about this. So do I care about that? Do I care about Hunter Biden going to jail? No. Should he? Probably so. Might teach him to get his shit together. At the same time, when he walks into an office or when he walks into a court and they tell him they want to have a closed-door deposition with him, and he says no, he will only do it if they're doing it open door. I have to agree with him, because so far every closed-door deposition that they do, they make shit up. So far, most of the Republicans who do these things have been making shit up. You look at the court, you look at the transcript from these meetings. The transcript is nothing like what the Republicans say it was. Well, he pretty much said this, that, and the other. And then the news gets a hold of the transcript. It's like, oh, this was said this way. This was actually said in this context. Not what they're trying to spin doctor the shit out of what was said in the court or the deposition. Now, do I think President Trump was treated fairly in court yesterday? Well, sadly enough, I actually do agree with how he was treated, because he is making everything about, well, they stole the election or some other crap. I'm not saying Biden's any better. I mean, Biden is he's not a lame duck, but he's a lackluster president. I mean, he is getting certain things done. And I have been watching certain certain live stream videos and other videos from people who are on the border of Mexico. This whole Mexican immigrant crisis. And for like the past month, there's been dick, bubkiss, fucking nothing. These videos about this immigrant border crisis. Before January, I'm sure it existed. I wasn't watching like the regular TikTok or Snapchat or any other pages dealing with that up until after the first of the year. But the Republicans are saying there's this immigrant border crisis. We have to solve it. No, there's not. There's not a crisis there. The people who are blowing it up are using, like, there was a week ago, I watched a video on a border crossing in southern Mexico from immigrants coming up from Latin America and further down than Mexico. So they took these videos of immigrants crossing into Mexico. And then all of a sudden, they're using that same video as proof of a border crisis here. No. Those people are going to be, it's going to take them at least a month to get to the border of the United States. That's not a border crisis. That's them using this fuel. They're using this footage from somewhere else to make it seem like there's a crisis. That would be considered a red flag or fake news. Oh, God. Oh, and before we get too far gone on Trump and Biden, me and my wife were rolling around today, and we get to 21st and Rock. There's a McDonald's over there. If you're from here, you know this. But they were doing a pro-Palestinian protest thing, calling for a ceasefire and all this shit. I literally put my face in my hand and shook it. Why did I do that? Well, because you protesting in a city in the middle of the United States, and damn near the middle of the continent, about a war you have nothing to do with. Sure, there might have been one or two people there from Palestine, but you're demanding there be a ceasefire. You're not in charge of that. Doesn't matter what you think, doesn't matter what you feel. And it's already a well-established fact that Hamas hides in civilian places, such as hospitals and schools. They've already proven this. And no, it's not just me watching one set of news. Like I watched this one channel for a clip because Gregor Ditzler from my debate group on Facebook, he wanted everybody to watch it. I watched it, and in the so-called Palestinian area, they've got a city called Hebron. 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 Well, for a Palestinian city, it's got a Hebrew name. And this city, if you look into maps that are from antiquity, we're not talking hundreds of years ago. We're talking when they were making maps in the ancient world. Guess what city was there? Hebron. How'd the Palestinians name a city by a Jewish name? The Jews were there first. The Israelites were there first. And as I have covered in one of my other podcasts, the Palestinians are not a distinct group of people. They are a hodgepodge collective of people. The Israelites are an ethnic group, like genetically they are. And apparently some people don't think so. This is how it is because I've done the research. No, they watched pro-Palestinian shit because they like the underdog. I don't care about the underdog. I'm looking at the facts. Like I before this Israel-Palestine thing took off again, I did a thing on Israelites versus Palestinians. And I settled the debate, and I had plenty of people tell me so. But people are like, well, the Palestinians need to get their land back. The land wasn't theirs to begin with. Biblically speaking, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I doubt I am. But I'm going to do this anyway. The Israelites came to the land of Canaanites, because it had been abandoned. As I'm led to believe it, paraphrasing it in my own content, in my own way, mind you, the Canaanites used to live there. They picked up their entire civilization, houses, livestock, food, water, everything they had in there, and took it with them. Their entire fucking civilization moved. Okay? Now, here's this land filled with fertile things. It's been abandoned for over 100 years. As far as I know, it was abandoned for like 100 years. Okay? Then, the Israelites find the land of Canaan, being led there by God and Moses, or whoever, and they settle it. I mean, they permanently fucking settle it. Okay. They've settled it. They're there. Everybody knows they're there. Everybody's like, okay, this is the Israelites from the land of Canaan. All of a sudden, everybody's like, well, why the fuck is it called Canaan? Next thing you know, and remember, I'm paraphrasing from what I understand happened, but the Canaanites come out and come back. They're like, what the fuck are you doing on our land? And the Israelites are like, when we came here, there was nothing here. There was nobody here. It was all plants, rivers, streams, dirt, animals. That's it. And the Canaanites are like, this is our land. We own it. It's like, what, did you guys leave a sign or anything? No, we just left. If you pack up everything and leave your entire civilization from one area to another, it's called abandonment. So it's going to be funny. But yeah, so you've got a land that got abandoned, all that crap. Israel takes over. Canaanites come back. What the hell are you doing on our land? And the Israelites are like, this ain't your land. When we came here, there was nothing here. No traces of human civilization at all. Maybe a well or two. I don't know. But yeah, just digging a well in the middle of nowhere isn't going to mean it's your land. I mean, that could have been done by shepherds grazing. So you mute that point, and then all of a sudden, yeah, history happens. Now I'm going to jump back to my other thing, talking about the presidential candidates, like Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley is a piss poor choice for our presidential candidacy race right now. I'm not saying she's bad. She certainly seems better than Trump and Biden. But I'm not saying that she's the best candidate. I don't think we're going to have a really good candidate this year. Hey, True Crime Cult. Hey, what's up, Bob? And there is a delay on the comments of about 10 seconds. So if you're trying to type real fast, it's a 10-second gap on there. I set that so I can read it and say, hey, if anybody stops by. I left a message on Facebook and MeWe and my debate group. So, hey, Robert, that's his. He's True Crime Cult in the chats or in the comment section. But the best candidate that was in the running, from my perspective, mind you, my perspective is that Chris Christie showed all the humanity, humility, knowledge, and wisdom of a great leader. Even if he's still kind of stupid for going for even backing Trump, let alone working for him. And all these people are like, well, I learned better. It should not have taken you 4 years of being under that shithead to learn that it was a bad deal. But this is a story we hear commonly from ex-Trump roundtable officials, cabinet members, office heads, stuff like that. We should not be accepting a shitty candidacy. Like, for me, right now, there is no acceptable candidate. I mean, Biden isn't, I'm not going to vote for Biden. And I'm never going to vote for Trump. I didn't vote for Trump either time. Excuse me. Either time he was voted for. The VIP candidates are Vivek or Tim Scott. VIP. Huh? That doesn't make any sense. But for me, Chris Christie was the best, most viable candidate for a, what do you want to call it, Abraham Lincoln style presidency without being too Abraham Lincoln-ish. I don't think Chris Christie could permanently save the country, but I don't think that he's any worse. I think he's much better than Trump, and I think he's marginally better than Biden. But the vice presidential candidates are Vivek and Tim Scott. No, we can do better than that, dude. We can do better than Vivek and Tim Scott. Another reason not to vote for Trump is if there weren't enough, is the fact that you've got the Project 2025. And I've read up on that some, watched some videos. Me and True Crime Cult have been looking up bits of information on this, and if that conservative whitewashing of all of our ideals goes through, we won't need history class. We'll be living in 1984, like George Orwell's 1984. Kristi Noem isn't even an option for those of us who actually think. True Crime Cult. I get it, but I don't consider her a viable candidate. I don't consider anybody who's out of the Howler Monkey 20 to be a viable candidate for vice president, let alone president. I personally think Biden should step back, let Kamala Harris run for president, because I think she would be a great president. The bitch of it is you also still have all the talking head swamp gators still in Congress, people who will not give their power up, i.e., Mitch McConnell, Jim Jordan, uh, Nancy Pelosi gave hers up, Nadler. I can't remember the other guy from New York's name right now. But yeah, there's this swamp needs to be drained, and unfortunately, uh, like Trump said, "Well, I drained the swamp." No, you didn't. Draining the swamp is getting career politicians who are bought, paid for, and owned by corporations and special interests instead of everything other than that. Yes, crackling Kamala, you dumbass. uh, we need we need congressmen who aren't bought and paid for by corporations, special interest groups, let alone the NRA. We need people who are supposed to be representing the country, not the corporations. Well, I'm the biggest corporate employer in my area. Who cares? You're trying to get a plant opened up? I don't give a shit. You're trying to increase your profit. I'm trying to employ. No, you're trying to increase your profit. If you're hiring 24,000 people at $20 an hour, you got to be making like 4 times that to be making a profit, and not just a small profit, a hand over fist profit. And right now, we don't have. I mean, I wouldn't consider the 4 Democratic horsewomen of the apocalypse any better than the MAGA 20, the Howler Monkeys. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Boebert, Noam, Jordan, Gates. I don't consider any of them good either. Or even the Speaker of the House, who is a little too uber ultra conservative for my taste. You might like him, but I don't have to. I'm not going to. Fun, right? Okay. And where do you get these names from, True Crime Cult? Cackling Kamala? It's like saying Sleepy Joe or Dementia Don. Yes, I'm going to use the shit out of Dementia Don. Somebody suggested it in my debate group. Yeah. Hashtag Dementia Don. Hashtag Sleepy Joe. I'm not going to use Cackling Kamala. That's stupid. I mean, God, it's like watching some dumb shit happen. Well, it's kind of like watching a hot mess called January 6th happen on live TV, which apparently a lot of people are like, no, that was a peaceful protest. No, it wasn't. The only reason there was peace in certain places is because they weren't the ones beating the shit out of the cops, or trying to weren't able to reach the front of the line to break into windows and doors. And for it being a peaceful protest where a couple of people got out, what about all the videos of them fighting rows of cops to force their way into the Capitol building and through the halls of it? It's not peaceful at all. Supreme Court ruled to keep Trump on the ballot, overturning call. No, they did. True Crime Cult, get a little more up to date. He's watching a little too much cable TV or whatever, direct TV. That has not been decided. That will not be decided until right before Super Tuesday. Yes, I keep up with that. I don't have to watch TV all day to figure that one out. I watch TV in the morning, at noon. I watch the 5:30. I watch the 5 and 5:30 news because World News Tonight. Need to know world stuff. Then I watch the 10 o'clock news. After the weather, I stop watching the news. I usually hit up YouTube or some other weird thing. So Supreme Court didn't rule to keep Trump on the ballot. They're they're going to decide that. They're hammering over it as we speak. So your thing about them already having ruled, no, they're going to let him stay on the ballot while they're still debating it. That's not siding with Trump. That's not siding with Trump, no matter how you look at it. This is not Republican spin doctoring. This isn't Democratic spin doctoring. I'm talking about things that are legal, constitutionally legal. Now, for those who say, you can't take my gun, you got to take a prop from a cold dead hand. Well, may I remind you, the Dick Act defined well-regulated militia is not, in fact, a group of civilians who only answer to a half-crazed lunatic named Trump. A well-regulated militia happens to be, what was it, the Coast Guard or the Army or some crap like that. A lot of pro-Trumpers will say that a well-regulated militia is well-trained soldiers. No, that's actually not. Well-trained soldiers are not the same thing as a well-armed militia. A well-trained militia, or whatever, the militia are talking about in the Constitution and the Second Amendment is people who are part of the chain of command of the military. And at that time, they were citizen soldiers, literally citizen soldiers. The Dick Act tried to explain that a well-regulated militia is a part of the chain of command, and a non-regulated militia is literally just anybody who's between the ages of 17 and 45 who can hold and fire a gun. Doesn't have to answer to the chain of command. That's why it's not a well-regulated militia. No, I'm not saying that we all need to get rid of guns. That's not even a point of contention. Six conservatives seem to be leaning Trump's way. If he is off the ballot, we will have President Haley. President Haley would be better than President Trump. I mean, yes, she carries some of the extremism of Trump, but not with the full-blown autocracy that Trump wants to infuse into the party. Trump wants to be immune from anything, any crime he ever commits, because I guarantee you he'll try to do it all while he's president. That way, he doesn't have to answer to anybody. And the argument that he is immune to any prosecution because his status as president is just bullshit. That's why we have a constitution and laws dictating what the president can and cannot do. This is why when we declared war against Japan in 1941 and 1942, after they bombed Pearl Harbor, Congress approved of us going into war, and then they brought it to the president, who said, yes, we're going to war. That, as far as I remember, that's how it happened. I'm pretty good with history. But I'm not going to say no to President Haley. I'm not going to, right now, I'm not going to vote for her because she needs to hit certain words and certain themes and give off a certain vibe, which as of now, she just seems like a scrappy kind of elderly lady who's a little bit older than me. But her talking about TikTok, all kids, that TikTok needs to be banned, it's like, well, your daughter uses this, so shut the hell up. She is backed by Charles Koch, who is a donator of the Heritage Foundation. Charles Koch is a fucking joke. All the people who are like, well, he's a great employer. I've met him. And he's a billionaire who lives here or his business originates here in Kansas. So when he wants it, he gets it. Just like when his brother was alive. Oh, well, we have $1 billion. Would you like us to keep it in Kansas? So they get to have a tax-free write-off having their business here. Let me check something here. Work mouse. My mouse would not work. Let's see here. I need to change that. I don't know if I can. And yeah, her being backed by Charles Koch doesn't do anything for me at all. I wish it did, but it truly does not do anything for me. The Heritage Foundation, they need to be legally shut down and the key thrown away because their conservative backpedaling ideas are meant to push this proto-Christian neophyte, neophyte political roundhouse view where we all need to be Amish, except for those who have the power to not be Amish. And the only thing I can say in retaliation of that is, for all these people arguing what the Constitution does and does not say, maybe y'all need to read the Constitution. Like I told True Crime Cult several months ago when he was grilling me about it, just read the Constitution. It's all spelled out right there. And the things that are kind of vague, that's what you go to the Supreme Court for. But right now, most of the crap that Trump's done is illegal and unethical. Like him hiring his children to run a lot of things in government, that's called nepotism. Hiring his family to do all those jobs. Nepotism. Literally, look it up. Now, he is trying to get off by saying that January 6th, Trump is trying to get off of out of jail time by having his lawyer claim that January 6th was a peaceful protest, which anybody who's watching it live, like me and True Crime Cult were, we were actually on the phone with each other watching January 6th. We were both, commenting. We were both literally on Messenger, phone chatting as they were conducting the vote, and then all of a sudden, the insurrection happened. And for all those people were like, well, it wasn't an insurrection. By definition, what happened was an insurrection. You had a mob of thousands of people trying to break in, and they were screaming to hang Mike Pence and take back the country from those who have stolen it. They weren't stealing, they were verifying the fucking electoral college vote. So what they did is, in fact, by definition, an insurrection. Whoever is a Republican president, whoever the Republican president is, they will be handed the mandate of leadership, aka Project 2025, on Inauguration Day. You might have been asleep like 10 minutes ago or 15 minutes ago when I mentioned that already, True Crime Cult. But I already did mention that they're backpedaling everything, and they want to take us to this proto-Christian neophyte bullshit thing. If you're not white, Christian, conservative, Republican, and ultra-conservative, then you don't fit their plan. And you need to be eliminated because, well, we can't have that. We can't have abortion. If it goes against the Bible, we can't have it. Well, what if I don't read the Bible? What if I don't follow your Bible? That's the issue that upsets me so much, is people are doing that. Now, I will start doing more of these live streams. The podcasts that I record and then release, those are still a thing. I have to do them to keep up with Spodcastify or podcasters on Spotify, because they still get one viewer, one listen on that. It used to be Spotify or Anchor. It was Anchor FM. Then it became Spotify. Then it became Podcastify. Then it became Podcasters, and they're doing away with certain things. So now I have to re up my terms with them, because this channel gets I usually record the podcasts that I do and put them on podcasters or Podcastify. That way, that person gets their listen, because I've had one listener for a very long time. Mind you, I've been doing this podcast not in the Sceptical Scotsman, but I used to do it as the Carl Experience as far back as 2019, or I think maybe even 2018. I started it right before the pandemic, so we're talking like 2018, right at the very end of 2018, beginning of 2019. But when I changed the name to Sceptical Scotsman, it seemed more natural, and I could do whatever the hell I want, because the Carl Experience seemed like the Joe Rogan Experience, which I wanted to get away from. He makes a lot of money. I make no money, so I don't need to worry about it. And apparently, True Crime Cult is going to live tomorrow at 7 with a really good panel. Well, I hope you have fun with the panel. Again, as I said at the beginning of this live stream, I am not a true crime I'm not a true crime person. If it's strange, dark, and mysterious, I know Mr. Ball tagline. If it's one of those three things, I'll be interested in it. But the true crime thing, it really isn't my scene. And you're in a saturated market. I mean, look at the problems you had literally 6 weeks to a month ago. You've done well. I'll admit you've done well. You did better than I thought you were going to do. But I also gave you every step. I also gave you every hint that you had along the way on how to build everything. So I can take a little bit of credit, but it's still your channel. So you can take all the credit you want. Just know that I'll always be there. Hey, guess who's responsible for it? But yeah, if you guys want to check out True Crime Cult, I don't know how well his channel is. And I don't care about getting more viewers. True Crime Cult. I don't want True Crime Cult has done more than 70 videos on the Moscow, Idaho murders. I don't have that kind of time, or I don't sit at home watching news all day. So I'm not going to keep up with that at all. I'll keep up with certain things. What's 140 mean? True Crime Cult. 140? Like, I know what that means. But I do enjoy the political stuff on occasion, because I know it so well. I think after this one, I'm going to get on my other account. Oh, you've done 140 videos on the Moscow, Idaho murders? I don't know about the rest of you, which you'll probably see this later, but 140 videos dedicated to that. And you went from having 12 subscribers to now almost 4,000. I'll stick with my 30. I'll stick with my just over 30 subscribers, because I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go that route. Now, I do have another channel, as anybody who's going to watch this video knows. I have this one, the Sceptical Scotsman, which is about politics and serious life events. And like I released a short yesterday about how I stand with Kansas City strong, because of the mass shooting that happened there. And it's, relatively close to where I live. But I'm not. I also have another channel called the Shroud Effect, which is where I do all the fun crap. And I will be on there after this doing a shorter live stream because this is running on 45 minutes right now. But I'm going to go on there and do a shorter live session now that I have a new camera. And before you say anything, True Crime Cult, I wasn't going to wait an entire month to get a brand new camera because it is the 17th and you were saying wait till the 1st. I don't want to wait a week and a half. This camera cost me the right price and it was delivered. Excuse me. This camera was delivered in literally 12 hours time. So I didn't really have to wait for anything except for it to get here. And it got here about maybe 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So it was sitting on my porch for a while. Luckily, we have a cooler sitting on our front porch, so nobody can see what's behind the cooler. And because I'm one of the maintenance men where I live, nobody dicks with it because I'm the maintenance man. But and if y'all see a ghost or a weird face in this window, let me know. Next, condenser mic. I'll worry about that when I get to it. I'm not worried about blowing up my channel. I've got to live stream more, yes, certainly. Probably a lot more on my Shroud Effect channel. But on this channel, I'm fine with having a low ball number. At least I've earned it. I've worked very hard for the people I have. But are you getting a condenser mic or are you talking about me getting a condenser mic? Yeah, type those little sausage fingers with the bag lady fingernails. Yeah, I'm talking shit on you. Me and him have been friends for 21 years now. No, 22 years. We met in 02. So yeah, that would be 22 years. So if I give him shit, it's all love, you know? Come on, True Crime Cult. I'm waiting on you to respond. Are you talking about me getting a condenser mic? Is that microphone with the little mesh in front of it? Yeah, I know. It sucks having to wait 10 minutes or 10 seconds. I will get that when I'm ready. I'm not at that point yet. Like, I don't spend 6 hours doing a panel with other people because I'm not doing true crime. I don't want to do true crime. True crime to me is boring as hell. And honestly, I can read. Like I go to a true crime podcasting site and read the stories. I'm done with the stories in 10 minutes. Like literally, I read that fast. I'm like done, and I have no reason to listen to the person talking. Now, if the person has a good voice and they electrify me or give me a reason to listen, like Mr. Ballin on YouTube, excuse me, then I pay attention. But if like you telling it, I got no reason to stay there. I'm not saying you're bad. I just told people to go check you out. So you got to give me at least that much for trying to plug your channel, even though I have less subscribers. But I also helped you I also gave you every tip you have. And now you are close to 4,000. Close to it, I think. I'm not sure you're over 4,000. But anyway, I'm going to get off of here and go to the Sceptical Scotsman channel. Or not the Sceptical Scotsman, that's this one. My bad. It's been a busy day. I'm going to go over to the Sceptical Scotsman. Or not, the Shroud Effect. My bad, I'm just like slipping today. I'm going to go to the Shroud Effect and record a more jovial video than this. Let's see. Hold on. It's awesome. It's an awesome panel. You really ought to check it out tomorrow. It's going to be... I can't read below this. Oh, let's see. Me, Pia, and A.R. Hayes and Swan. I don't know who any of those people are. Like, I don't know anybody who's. I don't know any of those names. Like, I keep up with Epic Rap Battles of History, Mr. Ballin, Cody's Lab. I'm into a lot of learning stuff, though. But, yeah. Um, if you like the live stream, like, share, and subscribe. Pia is college educated. Yeah, and so is Donald Trump. Doesn't mean I'm going to trust him to run a country. But I'm going to get off here and get on my Shroud Effect channel and be posting to. I'm going to do a short live. That way I get another video out for that. I'll be coming up with more content for the Shroud Effect because I don't post serious stuff there. Thank you for the hearts, whoever that was. I don't want to make everything just be serious, but I do have to record another podcast of me being serious and talking about political things with no partisan spin, which is what I really want to do. I want to talk about politics with no spin on it. Excuse me. And that's what the podcasts, the pre-recorded podcasts, are for. Because True Crime Cult and me did a podcast, and it was a 2 hour. It was just over 2 hours, and so many things went wrong in that podcast. Not on my end, mainly on his, but I erased that podcast out of my library because it didn't do me any good, and it didn't feel like me. It felt unauthentic, and he had issues too. Mainly with his crowd, mods, everything was going wrong. It turned into a dumpster fire, and I don't have to worry about such things. But I'm the only one here, and it was me. Dude, I don't know that. You're not even, it doesn't even show you watching. It shows 0 people. Anyway, thank you for hearting it. Please like, share, and subscribe. Share with your friends, all that kind of crap. I'm going to go over to the Shroud Effect now and record a short live cast there. So have fun and yeah, think on it. Bye. Okay.